So we should do it. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. So whatever you feel, either video or audio, because we are very less number of participants. Okay, we will revise a little bit first from text 15. Text 15 says, the Supreme Lord does not assume anyone's sinful or pious activities. Embodied beings, however, are bewildered because of the ignorance which covers their real knowledge. So we will just revise a little bit from there. The Supreme Lord is called Vibhu and full of opulences, all types of opulences. And what are the two things he is undisturbed by? There are two things the Supreme Lord is undisturbed by, and those two things are sinful or pious activities. He is not disturbed by your sinful activities, and he is not disturbed by your pious activities, because the Lord is self-sufficient. If we do right thing, we will get the right result, and if we do wrong thing, we will get the wrong result. And the Lord knows we chose it, and for whatever consequences it may come, we chose it, we desired it. So he is not disturbed by those two things. And God, another point is, God does not create a particular situation for any living entity. God does not create. I asked a question whether I'm audible. If I'm not, please unmute and let me know. So next point is, God does not create a particular situation for any living entity. How does a living entity become the cause of his own chain of action and reaction then? The answer is, brief answer is, a living entity bewildered by ignorance. Remember, please, bewildered by ignorance, desires to be put into. So a living entity. So those devotees who just came, we are revising from text 15, chapter 5 of Bhagavad Gita. A living entity bewildered by ignorance desires to be put into certain conditions of life. By that means, or as a result of that, his chain of action and reaction begins. Another question may be asked is, what capacity does a living entity have? What is the capacity a living entity has based on the purport? A living entity has the capacity to desire by his free will. So far, if there is any question, please raise hands and ask. Otherwise, I'll move on. How a living entity desires, how a living entity's desires fulfilled. They are fulfilled by the omnipotent Lord. When a living entity is bewildered due to ignorance in his desires, a living entity is bewildered due to ignorance in his desires, the Lord allows him to fulfill those desires. But The Lord is never responsible for the actions and reactions of the particular situation, which may be desired. The Supreme Lord impartially, please remember, the Supreme Lord impartially sanctions the desires of all living entities. He impartially sanctions the desires of all living entities. Another point is why an embodied soul identifies himself with the circumstantial material body and becomes subject to the temporary misery and happiness. Why is it said circumstantial material body?
Prabhuji.
Yes, Mataji.
Sorry, I put my hand up, but I think you could.
Yes, sure. Yeah, yes, please.
So actually, the question was on the previous lines which you said, that Lord fulfills the desire of a human being impartially, but isn't it this contradictory with the thing that nothing is in hand of human being? Everything is done by God's will. Whatever we desire, we never, not every time we get what we desire, and how much ever we try, it's at the end of the day, it's we don't, not necessarily we get success every time.
Yes, like we explained last week, a son going in the market, high street, passing by a toy shop, the child rolls on the ground crying for the toy. Because a child is crying for the toy, the father or mother has to go to the shop, buy the toy for the child. So when we desire, the Lord has to fulfill the desire, because we are living entity and we are not robot. We can only control the robot. Earth, stone, they can be controlled, but not the we are independent living being, and the Lord respects our desires, so that when we love God, the love does not become artificial. If we love somebody and we purchase the love, that love is not, there is no taste. God is living, God is living being, God is a person, God is an individual, so he has given us free will. So we are our free will is the cause of the action. And very clearly, this I'm going to read out. Soul desires, the super soul sanctions. When the super soul signs off, the super soul just signs off whatever we desire, it passes. Then material nature implements, performs. Material nature, okay, sir, I'm ready here to obey your order for this soul. Material, that's what material nature does. So always soul desires, the super soul sanctions, material nature performs. When material nature performs, she may use, saying she may use your body and others' body, other things in nature to make that happen. So does that make sense, Mataji?
So how is the balance between our karmas and our desire is maintained?
Just a moment. One devotee is finding difficulty to join. I'm just.
It's me, Prabhu. I joined. Thank you.
Oh, you joined. Thank you. Oh, great. Okay, sir. So your question is, Dipti Mataji, can you unmute and repeat the?
Yes. Sorry. So my question is, how is the balance between our karma's reaction and our desire? Like, is it everything we desire is due to our karmas only, past karmas only, or is it something we desire which is due to the present situation and in contact with good people makes it change, but it doesn't, like, I don't know if
Very
I'm
good
explaining
question.
it very clearly or not, but
Yeah, it's very good question. I understood your question. Very good question. The answer is in Nectar of Devotion. Nectar of Devotion comes from Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu, which was compiled by Srila Rupa Goswami. Srila Rupa Goswami didn't write Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu just based on his thoughts, even though his thoughts would be exalted. He wrote Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu referring to many other scriptures. Lord Chaitanya also taught, Srila Rupa Goswami personally taught. Who could be so fortunate? Lord Chaitanya personally taught Srila Rupa Goswami and Sanatan Goswami. That is different matter. And in Nectar of Devotion, which Prabhupada translated from Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu, Nectar of Devotion is summary study of Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu. So both Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu and Nectar of Devotion, they mention that based on our past sinful activities, we get desires. Every sinful activity we perform, it has two types of outputs. One output is suffering or enjoying the material nature, or suffering in the material world, or enjoying the material nature. However, any type of material enjoyment eventually leads to suffering. That is another thing. So we may call enjoying, so-called enjoyment. Another output is, another version of the output is, output of the past sinful activity is to get the desire, craving to commit more sinful activities, to commit more activities of sense gratification. So that is the bad thing of our past karma. That's why we said earlier, not we, that's why the previous acharyas, Krishna has said that devotional service nullifies the reactions of the past sinful activities. And even those reactions which are to come immediately, which are to come in future, they are nullified. And even the desires to commit more sinful activities are also destroyed, burned to ashes by devotional service. And there are so many quotes. So yes, we desire based on our past sinful activities, but devotional service to Lord Krishna destroys. One single quote Prabhupada mentions is Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Braja Aham Tvam Sarva Papebhyo Moksha Isyami Mas Shucha. Surrender unto me, abandon all varieties of religion, surrender unto me. I give you full protection. Do not fear, Lord Krishna says. What is full protection? The full protection is protection from the sinful activities. And without finishing the consequences of sinful activities, nobody can be liberated. And nobody is called to be protected. So Krishna protects. So yes, our own sinful activities create our bad karma or good, or if we do some materially good activities, if you give 50 pounds to a person suffering in the street, and that 50 pound, because of that you may get something good as well. But at the end of the day, good thing also binds you. either whether you are bound by, once again our very usual statement is whether you are bound by golden chain or you are bound by iron chain. Whether you are in jail in Africa, India, where there is not much facility, whether you are in jail in America or UK, where there is so much facilities in jail. Jail is jail. So even good things materially are bad, actually. So, but does that answer your question, Dipti Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji, perfectly. Thank you so much.
Okay, we move on. So, why does an embodied soul identifies himself with the circumstantial material body? Why the material body is called, Prabhupada is using the word circumstantial? It is because this is as per the certain condition or circumstances. He, as a soul, gets that body, either dog's body or bird's body or a human body. So it is circumstantial. It is temporary. So why why an embodied soul identifies himself with the circumstantial body? Means, why do I say I identify myself as this body, male body? Why a lady identifies as female body? The answer is, again from the purport, being in bewildered condition, the embodied soul identifies himself with the circumstantial material body and becomes subject to the temporary misery and happiness. So temporary misery and temporary happiness. Again, in this material world, happiness and miseries keep coming one after another. It's a chain. One leads to another, another leads to another. It's chain. And happiness, so-called happiness, is not permanent. You can say they get, one crude example, they get married, they go to some island, they get married, and after 2 years, I hope this doesn't happen to anybody, even non-devotees, but unfortunately it is happening. And after 2 years or 6 months, there is divorce. So that marriage, wedding, is a happiness, but ended up in distress or suffering. So nothing in this material world, everything, it may look like happiness, something good, but eventually it is bad. And another point, in what form is the Lord constant companion of living entity? Everybody knows this answer. The Lord is constant companion of living entity as Paramatma, or the super soul. And so he can, that's why the Lord can understand what's going on, what we are desiring, what we are craving, what we want to do, and Paramatma fulfills. And there is a beautiful verse in chapter 13. Upadrashtanumanta cha bharta bhokta maheshwara paramatmeti chapyukto dehesmin purusha para. This is such a beautiful verse. Upadrashta, overseer, Paramatma, Lord is Upadrashta. Upadrashtanumanta cha, Anumanta, his permitter, and Bharta, his master. Who is master? The super soul, Maheshwara. He is the controller of the controllers. He is God of gods. That's why he is called Maheshwara. And where does he live? Dehesmin Purusha Parha. Dehe Asmin. He is situated in this body. And who is he? He is a Purusha. He is enjoyer. Paraha. And what is his nature? His nature is transcendental. Purusha, Paraha. So in this body, there are two entities residing. One is us as soul. We are soul. And the other living entity is the super soul. So the translation of this verse is, yet in this body there is another transcendental enjoyer, who is the Lord, the supreme proprietor, who exists as the overseer and permitter, who is known as the super soul. And now that was from 5:15. Sorry, it is very important to revise. We are reading this, we have been reading Bhagavad Gita. My realization is, whatever we have studied, it's not that we have studied, but we are beginning to study. Our study begins with these sessions. And I am surprised. There are groups of devotees. I'm not criticizing, it's good, but uh, one session, one chapter is one session. And I find that is quite difficult, or quite difficult to accept. One chapter, one whole chapter of Bhagavad Gita, one session. Even from 15, I just randomly picked a few points for our revision. You are all helping me to learn like this, and we are sharing this so that we can remember the points to make our concept clear as well. So what is the connection between 15 and 16? 15 says that the Lord, no, doesn't take anybody's pious or sinful credit. 15 said that. And 16 says that, 16 says that, how not to be bewildered by ignorance. That is the key point. And 15 says that you are bewildered by ignorance. A living entity is bewildered by ignorance. And 16 says how not to be bewildered by ignorance. By being enlightened with knowledge, and that knowledge will destroy nescience. And when nescience is destroyed, everything will be revealed. When it is dark outside, let's say it is dark, night time, and there is no electricity. In this country, electricity everywhere, but if you go to park at night, for example, or bushes, it's quite dark. You don't see the path, you don't see a lump of soil, you don't see cycles, bicycles if they are parked. You cannot even see a car if they are parked in park at night, you can't see. So because Srila Prabhupada gives example, when the sun comes, then all those things that you did not see and you thought they did not exist, now you see they exist when the sun comes. In the same way, this is Prabhupada's beautiful way of making us understand. In the same way, when knowledge enters our heart, when we accept the knowledge, then we realize everything will be revealed. Who am I? What is my duty? Who is the controller? All those things will be revealed. So knowledge makes us see the things as they are. And text 16 says, forgetting Krishna means you are getting bewildered. And if you are in Krishna conscious, as long as you are in Krishna conscious, you are not bewildered. So the knowledge makes us see the things. Things get revealed to us thanks to knowledge. We read that in chapter 4, text 36. We read that api chedasi papebhya sarvebhya papakritamaha sarva jnana plavenaiva vishbrejenam santarishyasi. The meaning is, even if you are considered to be most sinful of all sinners, when you are situated in the boat of transcendental knowledge, you will be able to cross over the ocean of miseries. So that is the power of knowledge. And Lord Krishna says in chapter 4, that chapter 4 is about transcendental knowledge. So
what is the number of the text?
436, Mataji.
Thank you, Guru.
Thank you. So the previous one was 1323. Upadrashtanumantaja, and this one is 436. So the how the transcendental knowledge has the purifying effects. Transcendental knowledge purifies us. The mundane knowledge binds us. If we get mundane knowledge, use it for mundane purpose, it will bind us. If we have mundane knowledge, somebody knows how to make a fan. If he makes that fan for temple devotees, or if he makes a fan, uses that fan for Krishna's service, that is devotional service. But mundane knowledge, if it is used for mundane purpose, it will bind us. And knowledge reveals everything. On this point, Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport, knowledge reveals a person everything. Oh, that I already mentioned. Now, I also mentioned that soul desires, the super soul sanctions, the material nature performs. Now, we coming to text 17. When one's intelligence, mind, faith, and refuse are all fixed in the Supreme, then one becomes fully cleansed of misgivings through complete knowledge and thus proceeds straight onto the path of liberation. Text, what is the connection between 16 and 17? Please note that we are only revising. We are not starting today's session yet. We are only revising. And what is the connection between 16 and 17? 16 says, knowledge destroys nescience. And 17 says, when ignorance is removed, then only one takes the shelter of the Supreme, and we know who is the Supreme, and becomes fully cleansed of misgivings. All misunderstandings go away. And 17 tells us how to be in perfect knowledge. How to be in perfect knowledge? By engaging our mind, faith, and fixed in the Supreme. So, in 17, there is a word, term, paratattva. Paratattva is the supreme reality. The supreme reality, the absolute truth, has three aspects: Brahma, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. And later on, if somebody wants, anybody of us can clarify on that. If some of us doesn't know, we have talked about it many times. Now we come to 18. Before that, what is the connection between 17 and 18? Now we begin today's session from 18. What is the connection between 17 and 18? 17 says knowledge enables one to be fixed in the Supreme. Then he reaches the level of liberation. And that means such a person has transcended the material platform, or that means that person has gone beyond the platform of material concept. That means, in other words, although he is on the or she is in this material world, that person is on the liberated stage. That person has realized the super soul. He has taken the full shelter of super soul and is on the liberated stage. Now, that is the 17. 18 says, then how is that person like, who has attained the super soul, who has got the true knowledge? How is that person like? That is mentioned in 18. And because Anil Prabhu always repeats this verse in WhatsApp forums, in telephone conversation, maybe I would like Anil Prabhu to read the verse, word meanings, and the translation. And purport is long. And purport, if you like, you can read half of the purport, and Nimisha Mataji will read, or Sundari Mataji will read half of the purport, if that's okay.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Pake cha pandita.
Sorry, Anil Prabhu, you were muted, so please start again.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Text 18, chapter 5. Vidya vine sampanne brahmane gavi hastini shuni chav shopake cha pandita samdarshana. Vidya, with education, vinay, and gentleness, sampanne, fully equipped, brahmane, in the brahmana, gavi, in the cow, hastini, in the elephant, shuni, in the dog, cha, and eva, certainly, shavapake, in the dog eater, the outcast, cha, respectively, pandita, those who are wise, samadarshina, who see with the equal vision. Hare Krishna. The humble sages, by virtue of true knowledge, see with equal vision a learned and gentle Brahmin, a cow, an elephant, a dog, and a dog eater outcast. Purport, by his divine grace is okay.
Okay, I think, yeah, let's finish the purport. You read all the purport, Anil Prabhuji. Then we can discuss from here.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Purport, by his divine grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, a Krishna conscious person does not make any distinction between species and or castes. The Brahmana and the outcast may be different from the social point of view, or a dog, a cow, and an elephant may be different from the point of view of species. But these differences of body are meaningless. From the viewpoint of a learned transcendentalist, this is due to the relationship to the Supreme, for the Supreme Lord. By his plenary position as Paramatma is present in everyone's heart. Such an understanding of the Supreme is real knowledge. As far as the bodies are concerned in different castes or different species of life, the Lord is equally kind to everyone because he treats every living being as a friend, yet maintains himself as Paramatma, regardless of circumstances of the living entity. The Lord as Paramatma is present both in the outcast and the Brahmana. Although the body of a Brahmana and of an outcast are not the same, the bodies are material production of different modes of material nature, but the soul and super soul within the body are the same spiritual quality, of the same spiritual quality. The similarity in the quality of the soul and the super soul, however, does not make them equal in quantity. For the individual soul is present only in that particular body, whereas the Paramatma is present in each and every body. A Krishna conscious person has full knowledge of this, and therefore he is truly learned and has equal vision. The similar characteristics of the soul and super soul are that they are both conscious, eternal, and blissful. But the difference is that the individual soul is conscious within the limited jurisdiction of the body, whereas the supreme soul is conscious of all bodies. The super soul is present in all bodies without distinction. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Thank you so much. So would you like to briefly mention few points from here?
Yeah, Prabhuji, in verse 5:18, in regard to a Krishna conscious person who is fully enlightened by the real knowledge, he can see that we are not the bodies, we are the soul. He sees everyone beyond the bodies as a soul, and he can also see the Lord within every living entity. So the person who is humble sage, by the virtue of his true knowledge, he can understand this concept of Krishna consciousness, that we are all souls, we are not the bodies. So he understands that every living entity is soul, irrespective of the body, irrespective of the caste, irrespective of the species. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Thank you so much. And does anybody have any questions from here?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Mataji, please go ahead.
Prabhuji, like you said that anything good binds you as well. But if you start seeing everyone and thinking that, okay, Paramatma is there in everyone, you can't do bad to anybody. So you will be performing good deeds. So
Exactly.
that will be binding you as well, you reckon?
Oh, that may not be binding, because for us, it depends on what is good, definition of good. For us, definition of good is, if a dog is there, we give prasadam rather than.
It's a good deed, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a good. So good means good, materially good and materially bad, of course, they bind us. Spiritually good, it is beyond material platform, and that liberate us. Anything spiritually good liberates us. Materially good means spiritually bad. Materially bad is spiritually also bad, but materially good is also spiritually bad. So when we do something spiritually good, that liberates us. Does that answer your question, Mataji?
Like, you feed the dog, you say that example.
Yeah.
But that is material as well, for if like you gave food.
No.
Okay, we gave prasad. That's
Prasad,
different thing.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it is going to fill his stomach up, isn't it? And okay, because it's prasad, it will help him to clean eventually, and it will help him in the future. But material, do you think it's not material? That means
if prasadam given purely, it's not material, because everything you do for Krishna's service, if you let even Hare Krishna hear the dog, just the Hare Krishna 2 words, that will also add credit to his account, bank account, let's say. devotional bank account, credit added. If you let the dog hear Ram, that will add credit. If you feed one drop of prasadam, one drop of Maha water to the dog, that is not material. So everything you do, anything spiritually, that keeps adding, and that is, and in next life that dog may become a human being, a devotee, and that is called agyata sukriti. Nobody knows how it happened. A devotee soul in the past life, they may have fed me. So that these are things like agyata sukriti. So that's not material, Mataji. And even materially, sometimes we have to help the people. Like I'm driving, I have to give way. I like to give way to the people standing. I can't say, oh, these are materialist people, I don't let them cross. Because of the mercy, we try to practice a little bit mercy. Sometimes old lady there, maybe old man, we may even stop the car if possible and let them cross if they are struggling. If there is a blind trying to cross the road, although it is, we don't say, oh, no, it is materially, we shouldn't do it. You are not doing that material things, although you are a devotee, although that's not purely devotional service, you are not doing that for your sense gratification. You are doing it as a human being, as a living entity. You are respecting the person because the super soul is there, and the soul, of course, is there. Super soul is there. That body is also temple of Krishna. Anil Prabhu and I had a very deep, thought-provoking discussion about it. At the end, Anil Prabhu was right, and yes, so things like that, even it is material, still you should let them cross, help them cross the road. If they are lost, every way, wherever you have to help, you have to help. Does that answer the question, Mataji?
Yeah, so my question was that, like, we can't do bad to people when we start thinking that they are all soul and Paramatma is there in that body as well. So will that bind us? That's what it is. But as you say, that if we are thinking that way, then it won't bind us, because we are helping, we are doing it because of that Paramatma in that soul. Is it?
Yes.
Is that what you want to say, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
But on purpose, deliberately, if you do something like
Hare
it
Krishna,
depends on,
Prabhuji,
it
may I
depends on
allow?
just a moment, it depends on what you do and what is the action, what is the situation. Yes, Anil Prabhu.
Yeah, thank you, Prabhuji. Just I want to add a little bit, if you allow.
Yes,
To
certainly.
the question of Deepti Mataji, actually, I think she wants to ask that when you act like a liberated soul and you seek God in every living entity, then you are bound, you feel bound, you can't act in a way you should do. Like she is asking that kind of question, I think. That means for a liberated person, he respects every other soul, as every living entity as the soul, and he understands that Paramatma is in the as a in present in the heart of every living entity. But in our day-to-day life, like Prabhupada mentioned in there, that socially there is a difference. We cannot consider everyone. We are not that liberated, and we cannot consider those people equal. Like if a Brahman is there, we can't give the same respect. But it is said in the Bhagavad Gita that a liberated soul, he understands and he sees Lord in every other entity. But that doesn't mean that we can pick a pig from the road and we'll bring in our house and sit it on the sofa. And this is not that way. But the thing is, we should not do anything bad to anyone, thinking that the Lord is in there and we should respect every other living entity as a Lord. But that doesn't mean we will do impractical things and that will bound us. There's nothing like that. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Sorry,
Before that,
Mataji.
sorry, Krishna Vani Mataji, Dipti Mataji,
Yeah.
is it getting clear or it is getting more confused?
It is getting more confused. Prabhu.
Okay.
Hare Krishna,
Actually,
Prabhuji. Hare
Yes,
Krishna.
let us hear from
Hare Krishna.
we could clarify. Let us hear from first Krishna Vani Mataji, then Sundari Mataji.
Prabhu, I just wanted to add one thing. Like Lord Chaitanya says, he said all the human beings, we should do three things, like Namaruchi, Sadhu Sangha, and Jivadaya. Means we do our, chanting, we do Sadhu Sangha, we do our association, plus also Jivadaya. As you were saying, that any living entity, we should, help them. So we should see good and help, so it doesn't create any karma, but, as you said, the Lord is residing in everybody. So we should be, like act in a mode of goodness and help as much as we can.
And as per time, place, circumstances, like we cannot bring a dog and let him make him sit on the simhasan. And yeah, thank you so much, Mataji. That's good. And Dipti Mataji, please do not worry. And let's hear from, thank you, Krishna Vani Mataji. Let us hear from Sundari Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
I just would like to add something. I think what I got impression from Deepti Mataji's question was that good and bad karmas bind us. So we come back to have those reactions. Like if we do good, we have to come back to get reactions for the good karmas. Then if we do bad karmas, we still have to come back to get the like a reaction for those karmas. But I think the point is, if we do karmas in devotional service, thinking it as a devotional service, then that does not bind us.
Yes.
So if we do good and bad, that will bind us. But if we do in a devotional service, that will not bind us. Then we don't have to come back to take that credit or the reaction for the bad karmas or credit for the good karmas.
Thank you, Mataji.
This is what I understood.
Thank you so much, Mataji. And as a karma kandi, if you are not devotee, Dipti Mataji, if you are karma kandi, for example, and as a karma kandi, you might do some good things, and because of that, you may get promotion, you may get nice children or nice married partner or different any motives. As a karma kandi, you are not a devotee, you are just karma kandi. You worship demigods, or demigods for material gains. Then yes, these good things bind us. But as we said, if you do good things for a living entity, appropriate manner, then that will not bind us. We don't need to worry about it. And we, as a devotee, we also try to dovetail our behavior with Krishna consciousness. For example, if I help an old man to cross the road, I may say him, Hare Krishna, even though, and he may say, what? I say, oh, I'm just calling God for our benefit. And while crossing the road, and if I'm donating a clothes to some needy person, I try to encourage him, okay, chant Hare Krishna and I give you this clothes. We can say something like that. Say Hari Hari, then I give you these clothes. We don't say exactly in these words. Would you please say Hari Hari, then I would like to give you this clothes if you don't mind. We try, we dovetail our favor to other living entities. We dovetail it with Krishna conscious purpose, and we also think that the person is the temple of Krishna. And by the way, one point I would like to add, Prabhupada said that these are for the liberated souls. Prabhupada also said that number 2, A liberated soul does not think necessary to preach. First class devotee does not, he sees everybody devotee. First class, Prabhupada said that. He says everybody is devotee, so he does not preach. First class devotees. There are a few. One is Bamshidhar Baba, Bamshidhar Babaji. He didn't think necessary to preach. He was such an exalted devotee. There are few others. Prabhupada was saying a first class, this verse applies to first class devotee, and first class devotees do not preach. And Prabhupada was also saying when first class devotee has to preach, he comes to the platform of second class deliberately in order to preach. Because if you remain in the first class platform, you cannot preach, you do not preach. You see everybody devotee. You see everybody equal and devotee. Prabhupada said that. So for us, all we do is, okay, super soul resides there. He is part and parcel of Krishna, whether he is dog or tiger or snake. Although we treat them as per their condition, bodily condition, we have to treat. That is different. Anyway, Dipti Mataji, how is the situation now?
Yeah, it's getting better because Sundri Mataji explained well, Krishnamani Mataji explained well, and Anil Prabhuji tried every, and you, of course, you did. So it is getting better, and I think I understood that we are not the super soul at this stage, but doing good thing, we should not stop it. But don't think that you are doing good thing and try and get the credit for it. That's what I can think that we should do.
Yes.
Do not take the credit, just offer it to Krishna, and try and make everything Krishna conscious. Is that okay?
Yeah, as a devotee, Mataji, I would say if somebody, a colleague at work, they ask something, some help, and which you can do something like switching on the lights for them and holding the door for them, things like that, you are doing it with different motive. He is part and parcel of Krishna, and I'm serving Krishna's part and parcel. So somehow you link it to Krishna. Is that a good idea, Dipti Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you.
So why a sage becomes humble? A sage becomes humble, the text says, by virtue of true knowledge. So knowledge, if knowledge makes us proud, egoistic, then I'm like that most of the time. So I would not criticize myself, but I would say, yes, I'm not good. I have many bad qualities. I'm not in that platform, but I can improve by the mercy of devotees, Krishna. I can improve, and we all can improve. We have so many shortcomings. We can improve. So anyway, the knowledge should not make us proud or have full of ego. So here it says, humble says is by virtue of true knowledge. So that is the true knowledge, where knowledge makes you very humble. Humble means you realize nothing you can do. There is controller beyond us. That controller is dictating, that controller is there to do everything for us. What can we do? That is the real humility. And that humble person knows super soul has sanctioned their desires. Every living entity's desires is sanctioned by the super soul. Dog has become dog because the super soul sanctioned the desire of that living entity indiscriminately, without discrimination. And Paramatma remains in its body. We said that the body is more. What is the body? The body is made of matter, and so it is material. The soul and the super soul that reside in the body are the spiritual quality. It is from the purport. So, is there any points anybody would like to add? We don't start another text today. Text 19, we do not start 3 minutes. Anybody would like to make any points or any question? Sorry that everybody could not get chance to participate. Krishna Vani Mataji, would you like to add anything in regards to this? Whoever wants to speak, or Ram Prabhu wants to say something.
Yeah, let Ram Prabhu say.
Please unmute yourself before you speak, Ram Prabhu, and anybody.
Yeah, Prabhu, I have one question that came in my mind. Yeah.
Yes, please.
Well, okay, let me give the example. In my workplace, one of my colleagues, for example, he's non-devotee, and if I try to try to transform him or to try to tell about Krishna or about Krishna consciousness, and he's not interested, but if he asks me to offer him some kind of help, for example, when he is sick, he asks me to buy the medicine for him from the shop or pharmacy, yeah? And if I help him, so what would be that? Is that the binding? Sorry.
Thank you, Ram Prabhu. We yeah, it is already mentioned in our discussion. We just said that. So who would like to answer? Krishna Vani Mataji, or who would like to answer? Or Sundari Mataji?
Prabhu, you know, today I just heard in Guru Maharaj's class that, you know, like, yeah, if you do the devotees, you know, when they do something good to others, they are not bound for any karmas. You know, the karmas are occurred by these karmis, materialistic person, but devotees are not bound for this. You know, this jivadaya, we should do, this is like a jivadaya, and you know, if you can help, you should help. Don't worry about any karma. That's what Guru Maharaj says.
Even if he is critics of Krishna.
Yeah, sorry, what did you say?
Even if he is critics of karma, I mean Krishna, he doesn't want to listen about Krishna.
Yeah, that's okay, because you know, by your behavior, how you behave with him, you know, that will, you know, by your example, that person will change. So that's why, you know, even they're bad, but then you should just be kind to them, and you know, like, try to, if they can take prasad, is fine, or you know, like, you know, knowingly or unknowingly, try to give them prasadam, or sometimes like Dharamveer Prabhu say, like Hare Krishna, or say Hari Bol and things like that. So that's a, you know, like sukruti, you know, it starts. But you know, like, don't worry, devotees, don't worry about those karmas, because you don't get those karmas.
Okay. Only I repeat, as a karma kandi person, as a non-devotee, as a karma kandi, if you do something good, and that binds you, but for a devotee.
Okay, one more question then, Prabhu. I think I don't remember exactly what verse is that, but after 1866, Krishna says that, I mean, tell this story, tell this Bhagavad Gita to the devotees, but do not tell the person who is envious of me, who is the atheistic person, or the person with the negative emotions. Yeah. And if that person, if that colleague is he's atheistic and he's critics of Krishna, oh, Krishna is not a god, he's just a simple man. Don't try to.
Yeah. So could you say further, what is the question?
Yeah, for example, if he is that type of person and Okay, I can help, like Krishnavani Mataji, that just Jivadaya, or what was the word she said? Jivadaya, Namarupa, and Sadhu Sangha was.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mataji.
Namaruchi means we chanting.
Namaruchi.
Yeah.
And Sadhu Sangha, second one.
Sadhu
Sangha and Jivadaya, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, we do the Jivada, where we help him in despite his negative emotions with Krishna, or negative feelings and negative impression to Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna. Can I talk? Say something.
But I think Ram Prabhu's question is not complete, Mataji.
Hare, okay,
Yeah.
sorry.
Could you quickly mention the question, Ram Prabhu?
Yeah, what I was asking was, like Krishna himself says that do not tell this story, or do not say this Bhagavad Gita to the atheistic person, or those who are envious of me. He says that. So we don't tell any story, or we don't tell about Bhagavad Gita, or we don't talk about Krishna consciousness, but we just simply help them. That's okay.
So what is the question, Ram Prabhu?
Yeah, the question or the concern was, we shouldn't tell such a person about Krishna consciousness, or we do not try to make them transform to the Krishna conscious person.
Please, we have to note that our preaching, the way of preaching, how much we preach, how much we say, or whether we do not say at all, it depends on the recipient's level. Once you know the recipient's mood, attitude, level, you act accordingly. Sometimes not at all, sometimes just in indirect way, sometimes direct way. It's like that. So it depends on. So we can't preach everybody. We can't make everybody devotee.
But we can help them.
Yeah, Prabhu, but if they don't take Krishna consciousness, don't preach. If they're not ready.
Okay, thank you.
No, Ram Prabhu, we were, I was saying this, you are helping somebody because Krishna resides there as the Super Soul, and also Krishna Bani Mataji already said, your helping is the motive. One day, because if I keep helping him, he will be attracted. He will ask, which temple what did I do in weekend? In my previous work, I used to ask colleague, how was your weekend? So that they would ask me the same question, Durga, how was your weekend? Then I would say, I went to temple, we chanted, I went to Hare Krishna temple. And by talking about this, how was the weekend? I said, I went to Hare Krishna temple. So they heard the word Hare Krishna. This is the way of preaching, Ram Prabhu. Because if I directly start talking about Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, sinful activities, karma, bad karma, they will kick me. So, sorry, Anil Prabhu. Sundari Mataji has to say something as well.
No, it's okay. Anil Prabhu can say first. Anil Prabhu can say first.
Anil Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Actually, I want to make a little bit clarification on that. The difference between a karmi person helping someone and difference between a devotee helping someone. Because the karmi person who is helping someone is helping in the mode of goodness. And the devotee is helping for the pleasure of the Lord. That is the basic difference, because devotee doesn't want anything in return. He is not doing karma, he is doing a karma. That's why this is the difference. That's why that a karma doesn't bind anyone. That's why the devotees are not bound.
Yes, help also, Anil Prabhu. Thank you so much. By the way, Krishna mentioned later on that help, charity can be in mode of goodness, mode of ignorance, and mode of passion. So help also can come in any category like that. So
no, but if you are not helping for anything in return, or you are just helping for the pleasure of Krishna, like doing some volunteer work or helping someone, So you're doing for Krishna's pleasure. You're not doing in a mode of goodness, and you don't need anything in return. That doesn't bind you.
Yeah.
Anil Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhuji.
If, for example, if one beggar in the street, he's asking you the money, and you as a devotee, you donate him some money. He asks, for example, I need to, actually many times it has happened to me, that a very old person asks the money, and he says that, oh, I don't have money, enough money to pay the charge for the train, for the fare, train fare. And if you,
sorry, Ram Prabhu.
yeah.
I'm sorry to interrupt. In this situation, I don't give money because he may use that money to buy cigarette or.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I. That's
so
my
that
question.
type of
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
in some situation, I don't help because who am I to help? Krishna is there. If Krishna wants, that person will be helped. I leave it to Krishna. I'm sorry. I don't give money or things like that.
Yeah.
So I also think the situation where there is no monetary help as a friend, something that is different. But who am I to help? And we have helped some relatives. Because of our help, some relatives, they became, they were changed. But later on, there was fight. So did our help the non-devotee? No. If Krishna helps, then the person can be helped. Who are we to help or not to help? So it depends on time, place, circumstances. And Sundari Mataji, I'm sorry, we are.
Prabhuji, sorry, let me finish this point, what you said. Yeah, like you said very clearly and explained very well. I was just going to say that. But like sometimes we give food to non-devotees when we go for food for life. And some people, they are non-devotees and they are homeless people. We give food to them, but that is in the pleasure of Krishna, for the pleasure of Krishna. We are helping other souls. We are giving food to the hungry people, but we are not
food
doing.
Anil Prabhu, that food is, thank you so much.
That is prasadam. That is
prasadam. Krishna prasadam is non-different from Krishna. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Anything else you wanted to add, Anil Prabhu?
That's it. If we are doing something for Krishna's pleasure, we are not giving money, like you said very clearly and very good point. We should not give money if we think that money can be misused. But where we find genuinely needed person, like homeless people is starving, then we give Krishna prasadam to help him from the starving. That is good. That is for Krishna's pleasure.
But if I go to Brindavan, for example, there is a man without hand ask for money. In that case, I would give money, whatever I have, little bit, disregard of whether how he would use that money, because I can see. But somebody comes to car park, I need a bus fare or taxi fare to go home, to go to work. I would not trust that person.
Yeah,
in this country, government supports every homeless people, every poor people, they can get benefit in this country as well. So it's easier for us to discriminate, to distinguish. Sorry, we need to give chance to Sundari Mataji to say something she was trying to say. Sorry.
Okay, Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Just want to add something to Ram Prabhuji's question, because I do come across with the people like that in my life as well. So how I do is I don't directly preach to people who don't want to hear, or if they're criticizing Krishna, but just we just stay happy and we just carry on with our preaching to other people. Then they automatically they will start following us. They will see how this person is not affected by my criticism, and then they start like looking at you, and they start like start being nice to you again after. This is my experience with the people who criticize Krishna. I just leave alone. I don't try to approach them. I just like once, then just back off. Then we just, like Mataji said, just preach with actions, like just give prasad, or just
Yeah,
there's
thank you,
other
Mataji.
ways
Understood.
to.
Yeah, it's clear.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you so much. It's we gone 12 minutes over time. Sorry about that. We will end here. Thank you so much, devotees. Very good
Thank
discussion.
you. Hare
Very
Krishna.
active participation.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah,
Hare
thank
Hare
you,
Krishna.
Dharma Prabhu, and to everybody, to
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Thank you,
everybody. Yeah, Hare
everyone.
Krishna.
Hare
Yeah.
Hare Krishna, Deepti man.